Hi, Rod Farrell back again, and we're going to have a look in this tutorial at how to edit the content of the pages in your website. Up here we've got two buttons, Add New Article and Article Manager. I'm going to go into Article Manager to have a look at how we do this, because I've got existing articles. Makes it a lot easier to look at how the content is laid out there. So in this particular case, I'm going to just grab this page. So imagine you've got a site, you want to change some wording on the site. You simply open up here. As that loads, you'll see you've got a nice editor here with a lot of different functionality, all the sort of things that you would expect in anything like a word processor, although this is actually probably simpler than the word processor you're currently using. So here we have some text here. We can change that text using your bold, italics, underscoring, and so on. You can also use things like format, so putting into headings. Now the way this particular site is set up, heading 1 comes up automatically based on the menu link, but you could have a heading 2 or a heading 3 within your content, and that just flags to Google and other search engines the importance of the words in that particular article. So that's where you would have no more than one heading 1 on a website, on a page in a website, no more than one heading 3 on a page in the website, and then you use heading 2s or headings 4s or 5s elsewhere in your content. Of course, you can do things like bullet points, numbered points, and so on. You can add links and so on, and edit images. In this case, we've got a nice image in this site. The way you add an image into your content is you go down the bottom here, and you'll see you've got an image button. If I click on that, that brings up all of the images currently loaded onto the server. If the image I want is not there, I can go to Choose File, and that will take me to my own computer. I can click on an image, click Open, and that will put it into the box here, and click Start Upload, and that will load it onto the server. I then, when choosing an image, simply click on the image. I said here if I want it to be on the left or the right of the text. If it's not on the left or the right, then it will simply be split the text above and below. So the image will sit in between the paragraphs of text. We can put a description here. That's important for Google. That becomes your alt tag. And you can have a title showing up if you want to as a caption. Typically, in most cases, we just use an alt tag. Once you've done that, you hit Insert. I won't do that here because we've already got our image, and that will drop the image into your content. This page is probably a little bit short. In most cases, you really want probably 300 plus words to really get Google's attention, and add a few headings. But that gives you a good idea how you go about editing the content. If you want to make some changes in the HTML of the page, you can click on Toggle the Editor, and that brings up all of your HTML commands in here, or characters, if you want to work in that area. Most people will simply work as a what you see, what you get type edit screen. Up here we have our categories. In this particular case, this content is uncategorized. We click the drop down, we see the categories on this site. If we clicked on testimonials, it would then show up on a page that's flagged that wants to show only testimonial content, and you can have categories within categories as far as you want with the Joomla structure. So that gives you a lot of control over sorting content and also displaying content. If you're using a category like that, you can also display it in a blog format, which means that you have multiple articles displaying on a single page. The other area that you need to be aware of is your metadata. This is very important for Google. In here, we've got a brief description of what the page contains. That one's probably a little bit too brief, but we can add more content there as we decide how we want Google to find this page, and also we add our keywords into that page. They're the main areas that you will use when editing content. So Once you've made the changes you want, simply click on Save, and those changes are live on your website immediately. I'm going to close that page now, and we're just going to go to the front of this website, and you'll see Custom Lectures. That's the page we were just in, and this is how that displays on the site. As you can see, the heading up here, it's got a H1 heading for Google up here. It would probably benefit from having an H3 heading as well. We've got our image, there's our alt tag, that and our title for Google's purpose as much as for other visitors. If we go to our testimonials page, this is the blog style page on this site, you'll see here we've got multiple articles displaying on this one page. So that's where the value of the blog style pages come in, and you've got links to more pages underneath, and you've got your next and previous buttons as well. So that's a good way of adding content quickly to a site without having to worry about messing around with your menus every time. And that's basically it for editing content in the site.